Hello. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Lucretia, and I'm not doing my typical video. My goal is to help families organize what matters most in terms of creating an emergency plan, also known as end of life planning. Yes, even if you have both parents here, your family's healthy, you're healthy, there's nothing going on, guess what? That's the absolute best time to get your affairs together because you're not stressed out, you're not trying to figure out what to do, and you don't have a million things coming at you all at the same time. But anyway, I labeled today's video "The Day My Soul Woke Up." As I possibly can. But I didn't realize I was asleep. So, long story short, I'm a dreamer. Most people in my house dream. Like God speaks to us through dreams. And my husband is the only person who does not have dreams like that. But that's how I've always received dreams. And I've noticed that my daughter, Eliza, God speaks to her through dreams. Like I'll pray about something and God will answer my prayer through her dream. Um, so anyway, I'd had a dream recently. Actually, I'd had a dream about my mom. It was a beautiful dream. It was on my birthday, and I was like, in the dream, my mom says, "I know you miss me, but I'm always with you." And I woke up, and it's what I needed on my birthday. Like it was a beautiful dream, and it just really helped me to understand. My mom knows and hears everything that's going on right now. I don't have to worry about her. She's okay. It's just that we're the ones that go through the loss. We're the ones that are like, oh, I miss you. And they're probably like, I'm fine. I'm with you. So anyway, I was telling my husband I woke up and I said, oh, I had a dream about my mom again. It was beautiful. And then I started thinking, I was like, how come he never has dreams? And I was like, God, how come my husband never had, like, in my house, like, we're active dreamers. And I'm telling you, like, if I'm dreaming, they are also dreaming. So anyway, I'm like, why does he not have that? So the next day I have a dream. This is how amazing God is. The next day I have a dream, and in the dream, there are a few things going on, but the thing that stands out to me the most is that somebody's saying something to my husband, and my husband says, I'm not going to do anything until I have all the facts. And I wake up. And so I think, okay, not exactly sure what that means, but Lord, please help me to understand. So I'm a person, if I have no understanding, I will say, God, please give me understanding so I know what you're saying. Next day, we're having a conversation about something, and I'm trying to explain something to him, and I feel like he kind of blows me off. He's never rude, but I can always tell when he's really taking in information and when he's just saying, yes, dear. Kind of like to be like, okay, I hear you, but I'm moving on. I'm not really taking all that in. And so I stopped him and I said, wait a minute. I said, I'm actually pretty offended. I said, I know you're not taking what I'm saying seriously. And so communication is key with your spouse. Don't just hold stuff in, okay? So he says, honestly, okay, yeah, I blow things off when you don't present me with all the facts. And so I felt immediately like there was God connected the dots for me. Because he was like, if you want your husband to take what you say seriously, he is a person that needs you to present all the facts for him to understand where you're coming from and why you're saying certain things. Now, me, I'm an intuitive person. I have a spirit of what I like to call discernment. And what that means is I can pick up on things without knowing all the facts. That's just part of my spiritual gift. So I can hear something that's going on and say, this is what's happening with that. Somebody can walk by me and I can say, they have something like this going on, or I can have dreams about things and God will decipher it for me. Like I'll say, Lord, please help me to understand this. And eventually I will get all the details and be like, oh, okay, now that I understand this dream. So I felt like that dream was just telling me how to communicate best with my husband so he takes me more seriously and I don't feel like he's blowing me off when I'm having what for me is a serious conversation. But for him, it feels like I don't really understand what you're saying, but I hear you. I'm going to acknowledge that I hear you, even though all of it doesn't make sense to me. So when you're talking to people, you have to talk to them in a way that makes sense for them. I feel like that's where a lot of people go wrong, where I've gone wrong in the past. Make sense for them, not what makes sense for you. And so I was thinking about that whole situation, and I was just like, wow, that was like a really aha moment on how to communicate with my husband. And then I get the download. I feel like I got a huge download from God. And he says to me, you've been sleeping since your mom passed. Or you've been sleeping, but when your mom passed away, you woke up. You have been sleeping, but when your mom passed away, you woke up. And what that meant for me was I've been doing all the things. You know, I got married, had kids, go to church, I serve at church, but they're all just things that I've been doing. Like, I haven't been passionate about a lot of things. I'm passionate about my kids, making sure that they're, raised up in the Word of God and spending time and all that. I'm intentional with my kids. Me and my husband and I, we're intentional with them. But I mean, in terms of like walking in your purpose. And I was like, what is that? What is that? And so he is like, you just been doing all the things. He's like, in every bad relationship that you have taken on, whether it's a guy relationship or a friendship that's not there to help guide you, to take you in the direction of your goals, it's muffled your voice, where it's muffled your understanding, where you can't fully hear me. He's like, but when your mom passed away, you got the understanding that life is quick. People you love will pass on. People that you love, they may hurt you, or you might not see them. You may have them here one minute and they be gone the next. So when my mom passed away, I created a book called Questions Now, Regrets Later. This is not a plug, but her passing away was so traumatic for me because it was completely unexpected. I just thought she was sick. She would go to the hospital and she'd be fine. She'd come home and we'd help nurse her back to health. She didn't come home. And I didn't understand. I was like, she was just here. I just had a conversation with her. And so with that, I started writing things down, because when it came time to plan my mom's funeral, it was one of the biggest things that I've gone through. And this is why I'm so passionate about it, because people need to understand, when you are not prepared, and my mom did as best as she could with what she had, but when you are not prepared for somebody to go, it leaves it for another family member to deal with a lot of mess. I didn't know where my mom was from. I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to even start the plans. So I wrote this book to help people understand there are certain questions you need to ask your spouse, your family, your parents. If something happens in the emergency, how would you like me to handle that? And I can guarantee you, if you ask these questions and you guys are able to sit down and talk about it, you'd be amazed at how much information you would have missed out on if you hadn't had the conversation. Let me leave a little link here. The name of my book is called Questions Now or Regrets Later. It's the questions that often go unanswered for most families. And it doesn't have to be the case. I created this book, and then with creating this book, it's led me to go down another path, because I was not going that. I was working on something completely different. But when my mom passed away, I got an understanding. And then I even got more of an understanding of how God works. And how our people that have passed on, they have their own way, however you want to look at this, but they have their own way of letting you know they're okay. This is not some voodoo, hoo stuff. It's like just some gentle nudges saying, I'm okay. And I've had that with my mom consistently. And it's usually on an occasion, something that's very special to me. My daughter getting baptized. I had a dream about my mom. On my past birthday, a couple of weeks ago, my mom came to me in a dream. Like, when I need her the most is when I'm seeing her in my dreams and she delivers a message. And it's a feeling of peace. It's how I know it's from God. It's not a feeling of fear. Anyway, I had that, and God told me, He's like, you've been asleep. Now you're awake. You're back online. And that's why when you dream, you and your daughter dream together. Like, you're on the same frequency, if you will. Because my daughter has a high intuitive spirit as well. And so God just really brought it to my attention that you need to be awake. If you don't know if you're awake or if you're asleep, you need to start asking yourself out loud, am I awake? Like, am I really in tune to what God is telling me? Because God is talking to us all the time. I told my daughter that this morning, like, God has a team of angels with you. A lot of times people don't ask for help. It sounds silly because you think you're just sitting in your car talking to yourself, but I truly believe we have angels that are sent and assigned to us to help us when we're feeling lost, confused, and don't know what's going on. You can simply say, God, I need some help. And He will send it to you, but you've got to be listening for how it's going to come to you. It can be in a book. It could be a sign on the road. It could be something on the radio, something specific to what you asked for that nobody else knew that you said. So that's my conversation for today. I just felt it was really important to talk about this today. I was not aware that I was asleep. I was not aware that I had been sleeping for almost 2 years. And the day my mom passed away, I woke up and I realized life is passing us by. What you do, good, bad, or indifferent, it all makes a difference. Thank you guys for stopping by to listen to what I had to say, and I will see you in my next video.